Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. To my bed crimers, hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out my channel. Let me just ask that after listening to or watching the video, if you find you enjoyed it or learned something, do me a favor, smash that like button and consider subscribing. Also, if you appreciate my work, please consider supporting the channel with a Patreon membership. Now, let's dig in. The notes generated by dispatchers and police officers responding to 911 calls often contain information that you don't hear in the actual 911 call. This is true in the July 16, 2023 interaction between Thomasville, Georgia officers and wife and mother Lindsay Shiver, who is charged with conspiring to murder her husband, Robert. Note that later on this same day in mid-July, Lindsay allegedly sent a photo of Robert to her alleged hitman in the Bahamas, accompanied with the words, "Kill him." That's what you call a very clear and concise message. She definitely made every word of that missive count. Of course, Lindsay and her co-conspirators are now saying that this was all a big misunderstanding. I don't think there's anything ambiguous about that two-word message. Do you? A little word of advice to Miss Lindsay: writing "kill him" to a dude in the Bahamas with your husband's photo attached is way worse than joking to a TSA employee at the airport that you have a bomb in your carry-on, and we know what happens if you're dumb enough to do that. You ain't getting to your destination anytime soon, if ever. Lindsay's little misunderstanding may send her to a very nasty Bahamian prison for 60 years, which would mean she'd get out in her late 90s if she manages to survive that long. It's hard to picture that really happening, though. Lindsay Shiver, from what little we've seen of her, comes across as a rather entitled prima donna who will somehow evade this terrible fate, perhaps through large donations to the Bahamian authorities. I'm half joking and half speculating. It's also possible Lindsay Shiver is having a mental breakdown that's causing her to act erratically, and there's nothing funny about that. So I obtained notes about the July 16th incident at the Shiver home from the Thomasville Police Department and what Lindsay told the officers behind the scenes and off camera, and I think it adds a lot of color to the events of that day. So sit back and listen up as I share all the tea. This 911 call from Lindsay Shiver comes into the Thomasville Police Department at approximately 7:19 a.m. 2 police units are then sent to the Shiver home. Lindsay tells the dispatcher that she and her husband Robert are arguing about their travel plans that day and that they're supposed to be leaving in an hour. She tells the cops that Robert is inside the house. She also states that Robert is trying not to argue with her anymore because he knows that the police are on the way to the home. Lindsay also describes Robert to the dispatcher as, quote, cocky and full of himself and thinks he knows the law, end quote. She advises that the officers who arrive need to be prepared for that. Yeah, okay, prepare for him being cocky. She also says she's about to lock her vehicle and go and get the child. The report says singular child, not plural children for the couple's 3 sons. It turns out that only the youngest son was home when the 911 call went down and when the police arrived. The other 2 children were staying elsewhere, and they need to be picked up before the flight to the Bahamas. And as you'll see in the video, they become almost pawns because Robert is planning to go pick them up because he's going to take them with him on the jet. But Lindsay, who's still trying to get onto the jet to accompany them to the Bahamas to go and see her boyfriend, alleged boyfriend, has put the kids' suitcases into her Cadillac Escalade, and she will tell the officers that she's going to go pick the children up. I think it's another way to sort of bulldoze her way over to the jet and onto the jet. This will all make better sense when you watch the full video of the 911 interaction. Lindsay also tells the dispatcher that Robert has weapons in his truck, but not on his person. She then tells the dispatcher that she's in her locked vehicle and Robert is attempting to get to her. Lindsay says Robert is showing aggressive behavior. She then states that he's opening her car. We know from the police body cam footage that Robert was removing luggage that Lindsay, I believe, had put in her car because she was insisting that she was going to go to the airport with them to get on their private jet. But Robert tells the officer that Lindsay is not getting on the jet. He doesn't think it's a good idea for their kids. The two police units arrive at the Shivers' home at 7:28 a.m. So that's about 10 minutes after Lindsay made the 911 call. The rest we can see in the police body cam footage.
What's going on? Y'all are separated, or what's the deal?
We have filed for divorce.
Okay.
Living in the same house. It's hell on earth, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But anyway, woke up this morning. We have travel plans to leave. And he's insisting that I don't go.
Okay.
And then I have my keys. He moves me out of the way, starts trying to unload my car. Tells me he owns the car, he owns the rights to it. Just got super aggressive, and that's when I called immediately, because he's been physical before, and I'm just not doing that.
So are you just wanting to leave, or is he supposed to be going with you?
Yeah, we're supposed to be going with our kids.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know that's what I was asking dispatch, like what y'all can do if there's even, but of course now he's inside acting.
I mean, I don't know what it is that you want us to do. I mean, if y'all have filed for divorce and y'all are going on a vacation, other than telling him he needs to calm down, I don't personally recommend you go on a vacation if there's an issue like that and y'all have filed for divorce.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously a hostile situation.
Right.
So, is there a way that you can go without him, or? I mean, the best thing, what we're going to do is tell y'all that y'all need to separate.
Right.
I mean, has he put his hands on you that, have y'all been physically aggressive today? I mean...
No, just besides him moving me out of the way of my car to get to it.
Okay, what do you mean he moved you out of the way?
Like pushed me out of the way so he could get to my car and start unloading it.
Okay. We're going to need to talk to him then. Well, until he comes out here and decides to show out. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Nope.
Somebody was almost got asleep in our house. Like a week.
This house? Before they realized it?
Yeah.
What in the hell? Why are you filed for divorce and going to go on vacation together? And that's not something that we can work out for you. I mean, because we're going to tell you to separate. Okay, so what's going on this morning?
So for the last 3 weeks, maybe longer, she's had her couples trip planned with her boyfriend to go to Key West.
Okay, but she just said you're going.
That was to Key West. I'm taking my kids, my 3 boys, to the Bahamas this morning.
Our kids.
Our kids. Yesterday, she sent a message saying that she's going to change her plans and now get on the airplane with me and the kids to go to Bahamas.
But I own too,
And
by
when
the
we
way.
land, she's going to go her boyfriend
Elsewhere.
and me and the kids are going to our house. And I told her I'm not supporting that. And you're not getting on the airplane. That can mess with the kids' heads. And it's just something we're not going to do. Well, 50% of an airplane. She, on paper, owns 25 of that. And majority owner, the other 50% owner, and myself are both in agreement to not have her on the airplane. So 75% says we don't want you on the plane.
That doesn't mean you get aggressive, push me out of the way, start unloading my car.
Push you out of the way.
Yes, at the back of the car.
Okay. Lindsay, I did not push you or anything.
He doesn't want me to go.
I raised the back to grab my kids' suitcases.
With a locked car.
So we could leave. That's all it is.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you both, like I told you a minute ago, y'all are filed for divorce, okay? In situations like this, the best thing that we always recommend is y'all separate. Don't just separate from each other. You don't need to be going on vacation together if you file for divorce and it's obviously a volatile situation.
Right.
That, I mean, I don't know how else to put it other than that, okay? As far as the pushing and shoving, say Georgia advises that you put your hands on each other, that is an act of simple assault, and you can be arrested on that for family violence, okay? You're saying you did, he's saying you didn't. So
If you want to,
I can't sit here. It's a he said, she said situation. We run into it all the time. So what's
ask
gonna...
all of the people that I know if I'm an aggressive or abusive person.
You want me to show him the photos?
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen today. I'm gonna generate a report that we were out here and that we made contact with the both of you. I'm gonna generate a report that states you said he physically moved you away from the vehicle by pushing you away from the vehicle. You say, I didn't do that. I opened the back hatch of the vehicle, got suitcases out.
Suitcase, and she stepped in front saying you're not grabbing him and moved me out of the way.
Exactly. And
Move you, Robert, for God's sake.
we're not gonna go back and forth. That's how we're gonna do that. My next, I mean, I can't tell her she can't go on vacation with you, okay?
I understand.
It's marital property. That's that.
Pilot already said.
Okay,
too late to even put it on
it's
the
all be that's all gonna be civil issues. I can't stop her. I can't say you can't go wherever the heck it is you want to go. I can't tell you. You can tell. That has nothing to do with what we're doing here. We're here because of acts of violence to calm the situation. That's what we're here to do. Okay. I can't control y'all going on vacation. Don't recommend going on vacation together, but that's just my personal.
It's just an hour on an airplane. Just with our kids.
Do you have any identification on you? Okay, can I get that, please? Do you have your ID on you?
I do.
Mr. Shiver, what's your phone number? 221, what was it, 75?
7579. Now, since I own this vehicle and it's solely in my name.
It's marital property right now. She still has access to it.
Okay, I understand she has access to it, but can I not get my kids' suitcases out of her back?
Yes.
You can get your children's property out of it.
So he can get the kids' stuff out of my car.
It's marital property. And I don't have any paperwork saying that he's not allowed access to the children's property.
He's just not able to move me out of the way to get it. Right.
Again, he said, she said.
I'm still going, Robert, so you can take...
Pilot already said, Lindsay, that it's too late to put you on. And that's, he has to pick up the other owner after he drops us, so we can't be late.
334 963.
Here's your ID back.
Thank you.
About what time this morning did all this start?
7 a.m.
So you're supposed to be going to the...
She was supposed to be going to Key West and canceled.
Well aware, I text the pilot. Everybody knew it.
Okay.
He's just being extremely difficult. Which, that's nothing freaking new.
Okay, so are you leaving now?
I have to go get my kids.
Okay, all right.
There's two that are at other places.
Okay, all right. Like I said, my only recommendation for you is that y'all just separate.
It's always just going to be a he said, she said.
I mean, you get video footage, you have surveillance cameras, you have something that I can look at and say, yes, he put his hands on you. I mean, you know, we have an independent witness that's non-biased. I mean, you know, something, other statements. But right now I have you and him, and, you know, he's saying one thing, you're saying another. You know, I mean, if it's this type of situation, y'all just need to separate. I mean, just don't be around each other. If it's going to be like this.
But how do we do that with 3 kids?
All right, what do you have to get the cops?
So now I'm able to get my kids' stuff back out of the vehicle.
Okay, why are we doing this, though? Why do you need to do that?
Well, because he's taking my kids.
So we're going to go back, and so we're going to stand here while y'all go back and forth moving suitcases back and forth between cars.
So that's what's just happened.
If that's what you feel like you need to do, then I mean, then by all means do it. But you understand it's making the situation worse, and you're doing it in front of the children now. I don't.
Our plans have been the same for weeks. Now I have to go pick up the other 2 kids.
I just told her I was willing to do that.
Lynn just called me and said to go get them.
Well, I'll go get Grayson.
I can pick them up.
I just said I'm going to get Grayson.
You heard me say the pilot said it's too late to
And
ask
I'm going to get Grayson.
him. Where is he going? Because I need to get him from where the airport.
We're just not.
I'm trying to take all 3 boys. This is what I've had planned. I'm asking where to take them because I need to pick them up. And I can just leave straight from
I'll
there.
bring him to you, Robert.
Where is he right now?
Okay.
Is he at Chapin's house? Whose house is he at?
But he's
I can pick him up on the way out. I'll go get Landon. Pick him up.
so you're free to go.
I'm doing what I had planned to do.
At least there's a record of it.
Okay, wait right here. I got to get you both case number. Okay.
The bottom line seems to be that Robert had a plan for a trip with the 3 sons. Lindsay was not included. Lindsay supposedly was making another trip to Key West with her boyfriend. Apparently the plans fell through the night before. She tells Robert she's getting on the plane with him. He says, no, you're not. And then they call the police and try to get them to settle it when the police are standing there saying, this is a civil matter. Unless you can show that he hurt you and we can see evidence, we really don't have any business being here. I get the feeling that Lindsay is so desperate to get on that jet that she's hoping the police can force Robert to allow her onto the plane. Their advice, seeing all the toxic communications between the two, is the last place you guys need to be is together on a plane, even if it's just for an hour. So no, Lindsay, you're not getting your way. Now, these tense communications have been going on for months with the Shivers, and I'm gonna play 2 more 911 calls that were made months earlier on Sunday, April 30th, 2023. One was made by Lindsay Shiver. This is when Lindsay returned home to Thomasville, Georgia, after a 4-day solo trip to the Bahamas, presumably to be with her Bahamian boyfriend, bartender Terrence Bethel. As you'll hear in the call, Lindsay is upset because her husband Robert is returning to Thomasville after visiting with her parents over the weekend with their 3 little boys. Behind the scenes, Lindsay's mother has allegedly told Robert that there's something wrong with Lindsay and that he needs to take her to the ER for an evaluation. Lindsay's mother is concerned that her daughter is having a midlife crisis or that she may be on some sort of drugs purchased in the Bahamas. Now, all of that information came by way of Robert and Robert's mother, Lindsay Shiver, so you could say that's all hearsay. So Robert, apparently heeding Lindsay's mother's advice, has decided that instead of returning with the 3 young boys to the home that he's still sharing with Lindsay, he's instead going to drop their 3 young sons at his parents' house. That would be Robert and Lindsay Shiver. Lindsay, clearly not happy with this plan, has called the police to see if they will meet her at Robin and Alan's house because she's planning to go there and retrieve her sons. Lindsay tells the dispatcher that she's not okay with Robin and Alan having her children. Take a listen.
Hey, this is Lindsay Shiver. I'm in the middle. I just got off the phone with my divorce attorney. I'm in the middle of a divorce right now, and my kids are being withheld from me. So they're going to my mother-in-law's house who has 0 rights. So I was hoping that I could have assistance at her house when I pull up to get my kids.
What's the address? Yeah, what's your name again?
Lindsay Shiver, and the kids have been gone all weekend, and my husband just texted me that was the new plan. And of course, I won't answer the phone.
So who has custody of?
We both do. We haven't gotten that far to a hearing or anything. They've been gone out of town all weekend, and we're in Wiggum a few minutes ago heading to the house, and then I get the message that now his mother's going to have them, and I'm not okay with that. So I would just like someone to be there on my behalf when this goes down so that nothing else is misconstrued in this place, and I would like my kids to come home.
All right, what's your phone number? What kind of vehicle are you in?
I'm in a black Cadillac SUV, Escalade.
How long does it take you to get there?
5 minutes.
All right, we got them on the way to you. All right, I would park down the road. Don't go straight to the house. Just park down the road a little bit until the deputies get there.
Okay, and then we go together, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
So that's Lindsay's side of the story. I think Lindsay actually sounds very calm during this call. I can also understand why she'd be upset upon hearing her kids are not being brought home as was the plan, but instead are being taken without her permission to her husband Robert's parents' house. But she may not realize that her own mother has just advised Robert to get her to the hospital for an evaluation. Also, she seems a tad tone deaf to the concerns that her mom, her husband, and his parents are having about her seemingly erratic behavior. I mean, this is a mother of 3 who's been married 13 years and whose youngest child is 4. If she'd been a loyal, loving wife and mother for that entire time and has only just recently started having an alleged affair with a bartender in the Bahamas, that would probably make everyone in the family think that something is drastically wrong with Lindsay. But of course, we don't know how long Lindsay may have been unhappy in her marriage. One of her friends said she'd been bored for a long time. We don't know if her accusations of physical and mental cruelty and acts of DV against Robert are true. There's just a lot we don't know. So now we're going to listen to Robert Shiver's mother, Robin, who also dials 911 on Sunday, April 30th from her vehicle, where she's driving driving with her husband, Alan. Robin is upset because her daughter-in-law, Lindsay, is following behind her and her husband's Lexus SUV, and she's staring them down. They know that Lindsay's upset because Robert is planning to hand their kids over to Robin and Alan when he gets back into town. Robin and Alan are concerned that Lindsay may have a weapon in her Cadillac Escalade that she may try to use on them. Robin wants the police to meet her at her and Alan's home. Robin says that even Lindsay's mother advised her to call the police because Lindsay is not mentally well and that she's taking Adderall and maybe some other drugs she may have obtained in the Bahamas. Just FYI, Adderall is typically used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and also apparently narcolepsy, which is when you just suddenly fall asleep. You could be driving and you fall asleep. And before Ozempic, Adderall was Hollywood's dirty little secret for weight loss. The call, you can hear Robin and Alan's nervousness. During Robin's conversation with the 911 dispatcher, her son Robert calls his father Alan. So we can hear Robert on the speakerphone in the background. Robert is concerned that his wife Lindsay may try and harm his parents. He advises them to drive away from Lindsay so she can't reach them. Alan, heeding his son's warning, gets upset with Robin because she's following the dispatcher's advice to remain where they are parked in the Lexus. The dispatcher tells Robin that if she drives away, the police aren't going to be able to find them when they arrive. Alan actually calls Robin an idiot for not moving. Now, instead of judging Alan for this, my feelings are that, number one, he's terrified, and his son Robert is advising him and Robin to drive away from Lindsay's car for fear that she'll harm them with a weapon. If I was in a car with somebody else who's driving and a person who's angry with me and who might have a weapon is pulled up beside us in their vehicle and staring us down with daggers, I'm gonna want my driver to start moving. I'd be panicking if my driver refused to drive away in that moment too. I feel like I would be like a dead duck in the water. Also, it's rumored that Alan is dealing maybe with some dementia. I don't know if that's true, but that would add to the chaos for him, I would think. Robin does a fairly good job of remaining calm during the tense situation. The dispatcher seems oblivious to Robin and Alan's fears about getting shot. I would think that the dispatcher should advise them to go somewhere else that's safe, as in maybe drive to the nearest police station. But instead, the dispatcher insists that they stay put. So now I'm going to play that call and you can hear it for yourself.
Yes. I need the police, please, to be sent to my house.
What's your address?
201 Meander Trace. May need to be the sheriff's department.
Okay, and what's the problem there?
We've got a daughter-in-law who's going through a divorce, and she's following me right now. And I know she does have a pistol possibly in her car, and she is threatening that we will not get to see her kids because my son is on his way back from having been out of town with the kids.
Okay, is your call at that location right now?
She's on my tail following me right now.
And what is her name, ma'am?
Lindsay Shiver.
S-E-Y?
S-A-Y.
What kind of vehicle is she in?
She's not well. It's a Escalade. It's a black Escalade with black windows, and we're on Pine Tree Boulevard, passing the college right now. And her mother told me to call y'all because they've talked to her, and they said she is really crazy. She's not well, and she's on, I don't know what kind of drugs.
How old is she, ma'am?
She's 35.
35?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Robin Shiver.
And what is she so upset about? Because your son took the kids and went out of town?
Well, they're going through a divorce,
Uh-huh.
and she went to the Bahamas and just got back in town Friday night.
Uh-huh.
and my son has had the 3 boys are with him, and they're coming back to town to see their mom because they still live in the same house. However, she's lost it thinking that we're keeping the kids away from her, and we're not. He was coming home.
Okay, do you know if she uses drugs, or does she have any diagnosed medical problems?
She does. She's got some issues, but she's taken Adderall, and I don't know what else she's been taking these last 4 days. She was in the Bahamas from Tuesday to Friday, and we're afraid she could have gotten a hold of something down there to make her so erratic today. But she is mentally not well. We've seen that for the last several months. Alan, will you call Robert and tell him that she's still behind me, but don't talk out loud, because he was taking the kids to the house, and I don't want the police to get there at the same time. And that's my husband. We're not, Alan, we're not. They're going to show up at the house, and they're going to get her. Yeah. And just say, hey, Lindsay's following us to our house.
What kind of vehicle are you in, Miss Robin?
I'm in a white Lexus. And we're probably 5 minutes out from my house. We just went around the roundabout.
And you said you're in a white
Lexus.
SUV car?
White SUV. Yeah, it's an SUV. It's a big one. LX 570. We're crossing the railroad tracks right here at the old Southwestern. Okay. Oh, they're saying don't go to our house. Keep driving around. Okay.
It would be better if you can go to a public place, like, can you go, well, hold on just a second. Let me see where he's at.
Okay. Alan, will you call Brian Quinones and tell him what's going on, please? He's a doctor. He can come meet us. You have it, Brooke?
What is he to her?
Who's that? No. Brian Quinones is an ER doctor and a best friend of ours. You said stay in a public place?
Hold on just a second, ma'am. I'm trying to see where this is. Show him I'm on the line with this lady still. I can't pick up. Okay.
Hello?
Where are you at right now, ma'am? What are you near?
I'm Pine Tree Boulevard and 319 where Senior Life is.
Okay. Can you pull into Senior Life? Or pull
I can.
Or don't do that. Pull into one of the gas stations because you might be less likely to create a disturbance
Okay.
when there's people around. Which gas station are you going to pull into?
The BP?
Susie Q's? Okay.
No, the BP.
Yes, ma'am. It's Susie Q's now?
No.
Yeah.
No. We're Senior Life. We're right across from Senior Life.
Yes, ma'am. That's
And it's the BP station, and it's not a Susie Q's. It's just BP gas.
okay. It's on by Susie Q's. I'll let them know.
I'm on the phone with the police, Alan. They're telling me to go to the BP. And she's pulling in right behind me.
That's fine. Just leave your windows up and don't say anything to her.
Well, where's the police? Why am I...
They're on the way, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll pull into the gas station. Pull a bit behind it. Okay, alright. Keep driving. Stop. Keep driving.
No, you need to stay stopped. I have a deputy en route to you, ma'am. If you keep driving, they're not going to be able to make contact. You just do not roll down your window or say anything to them. You know, the complaint doesn't have her kids.
No, and she's pulling up in front of me. Yes.
Good.
Oh, my God. She was right next to us, staring a hole through us, so I'm not staying still. I'm sorry. Gosh.
That's right. Get out of here. You could have a gun.
I know she probably does have a gun. I'm on the phone with the police telling me one thing and you're telling me another.
You're going to have to stay in one spot for the deputy to make contact with you. And you can't go all over the city, so where are you going to be at?
She's looking right at us. I'm staying here.
The deputy said it's on the way to you. You have to be 50 minutes closer.
Idiot. Keep driving.
I'm sorry, I can't hear the police. Hold on. So what?
Where is she at versus where are you pulled into a parking space in the parking lot?
No, I'm at the gas station. First at the gas station. What is the ETA of your sheriff? She's got a gun with her, more than likely.
I'm clear that you're at the gas station. I'm asking you, are you parked in front of the store? Are you at a pump? Are you on the side of the building? Where are you parked at in the gas station?
I'm at a pump.
Okay, what pump
The first
number?
pump.
What pump number?
At a pump on number 20.
Okay.
No.
Then back up and drive until the police take her to the gas station and then pull her to the gas station.
Well, that's what I'd like to do. You hear me?
Pull straight out and go to the left. Go back.
I'm not going by her.
Go. They need to go to that BP gas station.
Yeah.
You guys, that when the cops get to the BP gas station,
Then let me know.
you guys go pull in and you have some help.
Okay? Do you hear that? That's what we're doing.
You go to the BP gas station, and when they get there, you guys can drive in right next to the police car.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Will you let me know when he's here?
Ma'am, the deputy is past of Magnolia Street on Pine Tree Boulevard. A deputy, ma'am, there should be a deputy pulling in.
Okay.
Do you see a deputy?
I don't. Not at the BP, ma'am. There's no deputy pulling in. We're at the BP on the across from Senior Life. And there is no deputy that's pulled in here yet.
Oh, she's driving in circles. We're back in the parking lot.
Female leave?
Yes.
Okay, he's trying to make contact with her first, and then he's going to make
Great.
contact with you at the BP.
Police car.
Great. I'm staying at the BP. He's after her. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
What we know now, and that is that Lindsay Shiver did allegedly put a hit out on a robber later in the year in July, in fact on July 16th, makes it all the more upsetting to hear Robin and Alan Shiver getting nervous in their vehicle. Clearly, they and their son Robert feared that in Lindsay's state of mind, she might do something crazy like try to hurt them. It's too bad that something could not have been done before July when Lindsay sent that 2-word message to the alleged hitman in the Bahamas. Had Lindsay maybe received some counseling, would she have thought twice about sending such a damning message? I wonder. But instead, she's now sitting in the Bahamas, away from her 3 children, with an ankle monitor, awaiting her fate with the Bahamian justice system. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Hey, did you learn anything here? If so, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, I won't let you down, and I'll see you next time.